Alrighty, yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. DDG94, back with another reaction video. Today, we finna react to Remember 22 years ago. Remember 22 years ago? That was 19, well, not 20. Would it be 20? No, that'd be 32 years ago. 32 years ago. That was 1993. God damn, shout out to all the 93 babies out there. Shout out to 93 babies out there. I was conceived in 93, but I was born in 94, so I'm kind of a 93 baby. I'm a half breed of a 93 baby, so technically this would, yeah, the year I was conceived, yeah. But anyway, so without further ado, let's get right into it. Do you remember 1993? Let's get it.
I gave my money, I gave my time, I gave her everything in life one heart could find. It doesn't seem to matter, and it
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's living! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
And she didn't leave a letter, she just up and ran away.
1993 was a pretty crazy year from start to finish, with many major pop culture moments that we would never forget. Many actually consider 1993 to be one of the greatest years for pop culture, as there was just so many significant moments that left a lasting impact on society. This was a transitional year, as most, if not all, of the trends from the 1980s had completely faded away, and where the 90s really became the 90s, if you know what I mean. Looking back, 1993 was an extremely stacked year, with some of the most talked about and notable moments of the entire decade. Throughout the year, we witnessed the debuts of many boundary-pushing TV shows, groundbreaking films, the rapid rise of the internet, shocking celebrity scandals, and major musical releases that really made 1993 one of the most memorable, chaotic, and iconic years to ever exist. It was one of those years where you just had to be there, as everything that happened just felt like one big event, and there was just so much variety for everyone to enjoy.
Oh no, the Cowboys won.
So I thought it would be fun to take a look back at what we consider to be one of the greatest years of the 1990s decade and of the 20th century.
In Jurassic Park, the place to go to satisfy a Tyrannosaurus-sized hunger is McDonald's, where something big is happening to
Man, this is what McDonald's used to be. McDonald's, man. This is when you used to beg your parents to go to McDonald's. Mama, can we go to McDonald's? You got McDonald's money? Oh, man. This is back when McDonald's was motherfucking McDonald's, boy. I'm telling you, dog. I don't know. It was just something in the air in the 90s, man. And it was good, too. It was good too. I don't know what was in the air in the 90s, but boy, it was some good shit.
your favorite extra value meal, Dino-sizing. For just a little more, get Dino-sized fries and a large drink in one of 6 free Jurassic Park collector cups. Dino-sizing. What you want is what you get at McDonald's today. And now at McDonald's, dinosaurs come to life on 6 Jurassic Park collector cups. Get one free when you buy a large drink or Dino-sized extra value meal. But hurry, before they're extinct.
Like I said earlier, 1993 was a pretty stacked year with some of the biggest pop culture moments to ever exist. People just seemed a bit more laid back, carefree, and optimistic back then, as we were going through a transitional phase, saying goodbye to the 80s and hello to the 90s. And this was just prime time to be a Gen Xer / older millennial, as 1993 just had such a chill and easygoing vibe. I'm actually jealous for people who were alive this year, because, you know, y'all just had some of the best things to happen. But that's neither here nor there. In world news, we saw many significant events that left many major impacts on many for generations to come. Rodney King testified at the federal trial of 4 LA police officers accused of violating his civil rights when they attacked him during an arrest back in 1991, while the
And this is what turned LA into a riot zone. This is when LA turned into a riot zone. They did us dirty, man. No, that's the wrong song. We don't play that song for that. When there's something racist, we play this.
The signing of the Oslo Accords marked the beginning of the peace process between Israel and the Palestine Liberation Organization. The Big Bayou Cannet Rail accident in Mobile, Alabama, kills around 47 people. The Great Flood of 1993 began in the Mississippi and Missouri River basins, resulting in widespread damage and dozens of deaths. South Africa moved towards majority rule. The assassination of famed drug lord Pablo Escobar in Colombia, the Waco siege, and a constitutional crisis led to the crushing of a revolt in the Russian parliament by President Yeltsin's forces, amongst many other things. In January, Bill Clinton became the 42nd president of the United States, where he
I did not have sexual relations with that woman. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Stop it. Get some help.
You said you know what she was doing in that Oval Office with the Miss Lewinsky.
Like smack her with a dick, 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 smack her with a dick. I put a dick in the air, a dick in the air, dick in the air, dick in the air. Fuck her in the eye, fuck her in the eye, fuck her in the eye, fuck her in the eye. Blind the bitch, blind the bitch, blind the bitch.
You know what she was doing with her in that office. You know what she was doing, my nigga. Don't act like you didn't know.
Freak man, yeah, that's me. Eat the cat from the back, yeah, that's me. Left your bitch out of panties, yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me, yeah, that's me. Freak man, yeah, that's me. Eat the cat from the back, yeah, that's me. Left your bitch out of panties, yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me, yeah, that's me.
You freaky ass boy. You freaky ass little dude. Yo, freaky ass on, my Uncle Grave.
You know what she was doing at Oval Office.
He served 2 terms as president from
Mr.
1993 through
President,
2001.
Mr.
During his
Lewinsky.
presidency, he
It's
oversaw
not
strong
what it looks
economic
like.
growth
I
and
was not
achieved a
having
balanced
sexual
federal budget, as
relations
well as
with
many
that
other things.
woman.
And he would also go on to sign the NAFTA agreement later this year. And in 1998, he would later get impeached due to the ongoing affair scandal with Monica Lewinsky, which looking back is actually so funny because there's a lot worse a president could get impeached for, especially in today's climate with the Orange Man in charge. Just a month after his inauguration, the World Trade Center was bombed due to a parked van below, leaving 6 people dead and over 1,000 injured. And this wouldn't be the last time we discussed the World Trade Center on this channel, as y'all know what happened just a few years later. In sports, 1993 had many memorable moments that still get talked about today. At the Royal Rumble, Yokozuna was the big winner and was later awarded a match for the WWF Championship at WrestleMania. Riddick Bowe versus Evander Holyfield II, billed as Repeat or Revenge, was a professional boxing match that took place on November 6, 1993 for the WNBA and IBF Heavyweight Championships. The Toronto Blue Jays won 4-2 over the Philadelphia Phillies at the World Series, while the Chicago Bulls won this year's NBA Finals,
Yes,
winning
sir.
4-2 over the Phoenix.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Charles Barkley, but that man Michael Jordan. That man Michael Jordan. That boy Michael Jordan. Most important, scoring like Jordan.
Stop it. Get some help.
Suns to later compete their first three-peat of the decade. At the Super Bowl, the Dallas Cowboys won with a score of 52-17 over the
Yeah, 93 was garbage. Yeah, 93 was garbage. The Cowboys won the Super Bowl. Yeah, 93 was garbage.
Buffalo Bills, and this was actually the Cowboys' 3rd Super Bowl win and their first one in 15 years. Also at this year's Super Bowl, Michael Jackson. During a changeover at a tournament in Hamburg, Germany, Monica Seles got stabbed in the back by a deranged fan of rival Steffi Graf. Due to her injuries, Seles would actually not play competitively for more than 2 years after that accident. George Foreman, Shaquille O'Neal, Drew Bledsoe, Oksana Bal, and Michael Jordan were among some of the most popular athletes of the year, as well as many other big names. Technology of the time was very innovative, as many new ideas and concepts would go on to see the light of day and go on to dominate the rest of the 90s. This year saw the release of the first graphical web browser, Mosaic, the commercial launch of the Intel Pentium processor, the release of the Apple Newton, and the widespread popularization of the internet. Some popular video games released this year included Star Fox, Zoom, Mortal Kombat 2, The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, Aladdin, Sonic CD, Secret of Mana, Super Street Fighter 2, FIFA International Soccer, Gunstar Heroes, Myst, Samurai Showdown, Ridge Racer, NBA Jam, and Virtua Fighter, as well as many others. 1993 was a pretty interesting year, full of some pretty memorable and juicy celebrity pop culture moments that defined the entire decade. Many celebs tied the knot this year, including Donald Trump and Marla Maples, Mariah Carey and Tommy Mottola, Julia Roberts and Lyle Lovett, Halle Berry and David Justice, Gina Davis and Rennie Harlan, and Alec Baldwin and Kim Basinger, as well as many others. Johnny Depp and Winona Ryder were also one of the hottest celeb couples this year, where Winona would go on to expose their life, which was, you know, a choice, while Lenny Kravitz and Lisa Bonet called it quits. Janet Jackson.
I stopped on the right. I stopped on the right. I was gonna say something about Lisa Bonet, but never mind. I stopped on the right moment right here. Hold on, God. Hold on. Shout out to Janet Jackson. Miss Jackson, if you're nasty, hold on. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shout out to Janet Jackson. That's Janet Jackson, nigga.
Are you looking for some wood?
I need it!
Man.
God damn! I'm on my way! Let's roll, friends!
Who the fuck cleans this?
Son just hit me. Shoot.
When I get in the proper position, you will suck my meat.
It's time!
Give them the almighty struggle. I'm feeling horny. I'm feeling horny. I'm feeling horny. I'm feeling horny. I'm feeling horny.
I'm interested.
See, what you want to do is
We know he has a big black hole.
finger licking good.
Lord Jesus.
Turned heads with this iconic Rolling Stones magazine cover. Steely Dan reunites for the first time since 1981. Nirvana is the musical guest for SNL's fall season premiere with host Charles Barkley, and Vince McMahon was charged with steroid distribution. In October of this year, comedian and actor Ted Danson sparked controversy after his appearance wearing blackface at a Friars Club comedy roast in honor of his friend Whoopi Goldberg, and for using many racial
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon.
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
You have lost your mind. You have lost your mind. You have lost your mind. Some of them going to sleep for good.
Black queens forever, snow bunnies never. I said black queens forever, snow bunnies never. I said
I
black
beg your
queens
pardon?
forever, snow bunnies never.
I beg your pardon.
I sentence you to 3,000 lashes for conduct unbecoming a black man.
slurs. Whoopi later revealed that she helped him with the bit, and this was all for satire, which is...
It's getting weird.
Yeah, I don't know why Whoopi allowed this to happen, especially her being, you know, a person of color. But you know, they're both lucky that this didn't happen during like 2015, 2016, because, you know, social media and Twitter would have ate them up alive. But I digress. Pearl Jam won 4 awards at this year's VMAs, while RuPaul and Milton Berle had some awkward interactions together while presenting the award for Viewer's Choice.
That's funny, now you wear diapers.
I said, wasn't supposed to say that, were you? I said I used to wear gowns like you did.
How about that?
At this year's Oscars, Billy Crystal hosted the awards once again for his 4th time in a row, with viewership of 75 million, making it one of the biggest Oscar nights up until that point. The classic Western Unforgiven won 4 awards that night, including Best Directing and Best Picture. Other big winners of the night included Clint Eastwood, Emma Thompson, Al Pacino, Gene Hackman, Marissa Tomei, and Alan Menken, as well as many others. At this year's Grammys, stand-up comedian Gary Shandling hosted the ceremony for the 3rd time, where this particular Grammy live broadcast was the most commercially successful of its kind in the 1990s. British guitarist and singer Eric Clapton was the night's big winner, winning 6 awards out of 9 nominations, including Album, Song, and Record of the Year. Michael Jackson received the Grammy Legend Award from his little sister, Janet Jackson. There was even
As he should. As he should.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's doing anything! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
a small segment of the show called How to Become a Legend, which was also narrated by Janet Jackson. And we'll talk about Janet later in this video, so stay tuned for her. Other big winners of the night included KD Lang for Best Female Pop Vocal for her hit Constant Craving, Boyz II Men for Best R&B Performance by a Duo or Group with Vocals for their classic End of the Road, Arrested Development for Best Rap Performance by a Duo or Group for their song Tennessee, as well as Best New Artist, and Celine Dion and Peebo Bryson for Best Pop Performance by a Duo or Group with Vocals for the Beauty and the Beast song, as well as many others. Now enjoy these random red carpet looks from the year. Throughout the year, many future millennial superstars were born, including Kevin Lang, Morgan Wallen, Ariana Grande, Miranda Cosgrove, Debbie Ryan, Drew Starkey, Sophia Carson, Meghan Trainor, Niall Horan, Zayn Malik, Stefon Diggs, Victoria Justice, Pete Davidson, Party Next Door, Perry Edwards, Liam Payne, Gunna, Allison Stoner, Kelsey Ballerini, Charlie Kirk, Elizabeth Gills, Leon Thomas III, and your girl Keke Palmer, as well as other.
So you mean to tell me all these people are 1 year older than me? Life trash, bro.
Try it.
All these niggas 1 year older than me, bro. So all these niggas 32 years old right now. Fuck out of here.
Many big names.
I didn't think I was gonna win because whoa.
We also said goodbye to many legends and notable public figures in 1993, including Pablo Escobar, River Phoenix, Andre the Giant, Frank Zappa, Arthur Ashe, Thurgood Marshall, Vincent Price, Raymond Burr, and Audrey Hepburn, amongst many others. At the young age of 28, upcoming actor Brendan Lee was accidentally shot and killed while filming The Crow, which was just so unfortunate. I'm sure he would have had a much bigger career had this not happened, as this was a project that was actually set to propel his career to new heights. But unfortunately, we'll never know. Michael Jackson was without a doubt the most talked about public figure of the year, as he was just everywhere. From his live performances to shocking interview moments, sold out arena tours, and other crazy scandals, 1993 was a pretty eventful year to say the least for the King of Pop. In January, Michael performed as a guest for this year's Super Bowl halftime show, as the NFL were in desperate need of a high-profile performer in an attempt to get higher ratings as the viewership was on a decline. His performance brought in a record-breaking 133.4 million viewers, as it
And that was all thanks to In Living Color. If it wasn't for In Living Color, this would have never happened. So for those of y'all that don't know the backstory, In Living Color did a halftime show. They did a live show during the Super Bowl halftime show because the Super Bowl decided we're not going to have anybody perform for the halftime show this year. We're just going to get a marching band. And Keenen Ivory Wayans knew that, hey, ain't nobody finna be watching that shit. Everybody probably gonna go to the bathroom, use snacks. Let's do a live In Living Color show right there in the middle of in the halftime Super Bowl. And they did it, and I think Fox got the most views they ever seen in a short span of I believe in a short span of like 25 minutes. And then after that, the NFL was like, hey, don't do that again. As a matter of fact, we'll give y'all the Super Bowl this year. Just don't do that again. As a matter of fact, we're going to get Michael Jackson to do the halftime show. And this is the start of halftime Super Bowl shows being the attraction for, yeah. So if it wasn't for In Living Single, I'm not In Living Single, but In Living Color. If it wasn't for Keenen Ivory Wayans and In Living Color, we wouldn't have never got things like this for the halftime show.
It was the first Super Bowl whose halftime show drew greater audience figures than the actual game. And that says a lot right there about just the power of Michael Jackson, you know? He performed many of his major hits, including Billie Jean, Black or White, and Heal the World, amongst many others. And his halftime show would go down in history as one of the greatest, if not the best Super Bowl halftime show ever, as he set the bar high for future shows. And honestly, he's the reason why the Super Bowl halftime show is such a big deal now, and the main reason why many people tune in every year. Due to the success of his performance, the NFL would continue to invite many high-profile music superstars over the years, as the halftime shows would get more flashier, extravagant, louder, and over the top, making it something to look forward to each year. Also, in January, Michael attended the American Music Awards, where he performed and won several awards throughout the night. He took home 3 awards for Favorite Pop Rock Album for his Dangerous album, Favorite Soul/R&B Single for Remember the Time, and became the first to win the International Artist Award of Excellence, where he was presented the award by his younger sister, Janet Jackson. In February, Michael gave a 90-minute interview with Oprah Winfrey, where he opened up about his past childhood at the hands of his father, Joe Jackson, loneliness he feels as an adult, being a Black American male, and tabloid rumors, including that he had bought the bones of the Elephant Man and slept in a hyperbaric oxygen chamber, amongst many other things. He also opened up about the skin-changing rumors, where he revealed to the world for the first time that he had vitiligo.
I'm going to ask you this, and it's embarrassing for me to ask you this, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Are you a virgin? How could you ask me that question? I just want to know. I want to know. I'm a gentleman. You're a gentleman.
That was a trash. This is why I don't fuck with Oprah, bro. That was a trash ass question to ask that man. That was a trash ass question. That's why nobody don't fuck with Oprah, bro. Fuck Oprah. Fuck that bitch. Ain't no way you ask that man that question, bro.
Hell no, no, to the no, no. Hell to the no, no. To the hell no, no. Hell to the no, no. Hell no, no. Hell to the no, no.
Is this your man? Whose man's is this? Huh?
Yeah, I couldn't be a celebrity because of stuff like this, but that's besides the point. And you have to remember, this was the era way before social media, and the internet was still a new concept at the time. Public figures weren't as easily attainable as they are today, and if we're being honest, Oprah was asking the questions that everyone wanted to know. Nonetheless, the interview itself became the most watched television interview in US history to date, with more than 90 million viewers. Things would really heat up for Michael later that year when he first faced allegations of child against 13-year-old Jordan Chandler. I'm not gonna go into details because YouTube won't let me, but just know that Michael was accused of some questionable behavior with minors, which led to criminal investigations. In August, as the second leg of his Dangerous World Tour began, news of the allegations broke and received worldwide media attention, where he later canceled the remainder of his tour, citing health problems arising from the scandal, which is just so unfortunate. And later, his sister LaToya Jackson would actually say that he was a but later produced no evidence and withdrew the accusation, saying she had been forced to make it by her husband at the time, which is just crazy. That his own family member would even say these things publicly with no real proof. But I digress. It really be your family sometimes. In September, the Chandlers filed a lawsuit against Jackson, where they later reached a financial settlement in January of 1994. Michael and his legal team stressed that this was not due to guilt, but was pretty obvious damage control at the time. In September 1994, the investigation closed after the Chandlers declined to cooperate, leaving the case without its main witness. So basically, they just wanted some of that Jackson coin. The allegations damaged Michael Jackson's public image, health, and commercial standing in the mainstream. Several of his major deals were canceled, including his decade-long Pepsi endorsement. Further allegations of questionable behavior by Michael Jackson actually led to the People vs. Jackson trial in 2005, in which he was later acquitted. Although Michael is still the king of pop and a legend, 1993 was the year where many considered to be the true start of his decline in the public's eyes, as things would just continue to go downhill from here until his untimely passing in 2009.
Young Bobby Engels has a problem. He needs to earn the respect of his peers. So he gets Sega Genesis, the ultimate action system. And then he buys Mortal Kombat.
My very first gaming console. Goated.
The arcade edition, and the all-new Shinobi 3, and Marvel's X-Men. Now, things are pretty much okay.
I said chocolate chip. Say it. Say it.
1993 was a really exciting and memorable year for the film industry. Many people consider it to be one of the best years for films, as there was just so many major iconic landmark releases throughout the year. From start to finish, 1993 was just stacked with some legendary films, making it one of the most notable years of the 1990s decade. This year saw the rise of many new franchises, sequels, and major blockbusters that had everyone in a chokehold from January to December. Going to the movies just isn't the same anymore, as I feel like new movies just aren't as exciting as they used to be, you know? We also saw the debuts of many new Hollywood actors like Anna Paquin, Jason James Richer, Francis Capra, and Leonardo DiCaprio, amongst many other big names. Whether you were watching the epic historical drama Schindler's List, or everyone's favorite duo in Philadelphia, there was just so much variety for everyone to enjoy. You just had to be there. In October of this year, The Nightmare Before Christmas was released, where it became one of the standout films of the year. The Nightmare Before Christmas is a stop-motion.
I saw this once. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't fuck with it.
Try it.
Cause I'm confused. I'm still confused. Is this a Christmas movie or a Halloween movie? I'm still confused by this.
Try it.
This shit don't make no sense.
What more do you want from me?
Animated gothic musical fantasy film directed by Henry Selick in his feature directorial debut, and produced and based on a story and characters conceived by Tim Burton. It tells the story of Jack Skellington, the king of Halloween Town, who stumbles upon Christmas Town and schemes to take over the holiday. I actually might get my 90s card revoked when I say this, but hear me out, people, hear me out. I actually never got the chance to watch this film in full growing up until recently, as Halloween wasn't tolerated in my household. But the one time I did get to watch it, I really enjoyed it, as it was something unlike anything I've ever seen before. And I can definitely see why this movie is a cult classic all these years later. Walt Disney Studios initially released the film through the Touchstone Pictures label because the studio believed the film's gothic tone might be too dark and scary for kids at the time, which is actually kind of funny because they would later go on to release The Hunchback of Notre Dame just a couple years later, and that film was pretty dark and scary for children, but I digress. The film was met with commercial and critical success upon release, earning praise for its animation, particularly the innovation of stop motion as an art form, as well as its characters, songs, and Danny Elfman's score. While initially a modest box office hit, it has since garnered a large cult following and is widely regarded as one of the greatest animated films of all time. Let me know in the comments if you think this is a Christmas film or a Halloween classic, as it feels like a mix of both. Throughout the 80s and 90s, actor and comedian Robin Williams quickly became one of the biggest names in Hollywood due to his comedic timing and improv skills, where many considered him to be one of the greatest comedians of all time. In 1993, he starred in one of the hottest films of the year, Mrs. Doubtfire. Mrs. Doubtfire is a comedy drama film that was released.
I feel like Miss Doubtfire is underrated. If that makes sense. I know a lot of people may not feel like it's underrated, but it's kind of underrated. It's funny as fuck. Like, don't get me wrong, it's funny as fuck. It's that yo, this Doubtfire is funny as fuck. But I feel like it don't get a lot of love like it should get, bro. It really should get more love than what it gets. It may not feel like that to some people, but that's because you're part of the cult. You're part of the cult. Of course you love this movie, but I think a lot of people don't really fuck with this.
To theaters in November of this year, where it quickly became the second highest grossing film of the year. It co-stars many other big names like Sally Field, Pierce Brosnan, and Harvey Fierstein. It also stars new and upcoming child actors Lisa Jacob, Matthew Lawrence, and Mara Wilson as the Hillard kids. The story follows a recently divorced voice actor who disguises himself as an elderly female housekeeper in order to spend time with his children. The story was simple and straightforward, making it one of the most standout and memorable films of the year. It's definitely one of those movies that couldn't be made today, as some would find the cross-dressing jokes a little offensive. This was yet another film that I never saw fully until recently for the first time, and I really enjoyed how funny, relatable, and down to earth it was. At the time of its release, several critics compared Mrs. Doubtfire unfavorably with 1959's Some Like It Hot, and others who viewed the film favorably noted its similarity to Dustin Hoffman's role in 1982's Tootsie, due to mostly the cross-dressing. Despite this, many have praised Robin Williams' portrayal of this character, where fans and critics have said it's one of his best film roles he's ever done in his entire career, and I actually agree with that. Since the film's initial release, fans have expressed that this movie actually helped them cope with experiencing divorced or separated parents in their youth, which is honestly really cool when you think about it. In 2015, The Good Dinosaur was released, where many people think it's the best. Jurassic Park was released to theaters in June of this year and became the hottest blockbuster of the summer and the most anticipated film of the year. Jurassic Park is a science fiction action film directed by Steven Spielberg and written by Michael Crichton and David Koch, based on Crichton's 1990 novel of the same name. The film stars major names including Sam Neill, Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum, and Richard Attenborough, as well as many others. The film is set on the fictional island of Isla Nublar, near Costa Rica, where wealthy businessman John Hammond and a team of genetic scientists have created a wildlife park of distinct dinosaurs. When industrial sabotage leads to a catastrophic shutdown of the park's power facilities and security precautions, a small group of visitors struggle to survive and escape the now perilous island. Filming for Jurassic Park took place in parts of California and Hawaii from August to November 1992, and post-production lasted until May of 1993, where it was actually supervised by Steven Spielberg in Poland while he was filming his other blockbuster from this year, Schindler's List. The film received critical acclaim, with praise to its special effects, sound design, action sequences, John Williams' score, and Spielberg's direction. Jurassic Park was so popular that it won 20 awards, including 3 Academy Awards for technical achievements in visual effects and sound design, as well as many other awards. But the major draw for this film was the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs were created with computer-generated imagery by the Industrial Light and Magic Company and with life-size animatronic dinosaurs built by Stan Winston's team. To showcase the film's sound design, which included a mixture of various animal noises for the dinosaur sounds, Spielberg invested in the creation of DTS, a company specializing in digital surround sound formats. And this film was very groundbreaking at the time of its release, as audiences were just blown away by the realistic look and feel of the dinosaurs, as well as the intense action sequences, making it something we had never seen up until that point.
Across North America on movie screens, dinosaurs are coming back to life today in the new movie Jurassic Park.
It was fantastic. It was so scary.
It really was the most exciting film I've ever seen.
I think if not for the laugh lines in it, people would have had heart attacks.
But they were able to get such a visceral, immediate response. I mean, it didn't say this is an effect. It was like, bam.
Well, I'm still shaking from it. It's scary. The thrills never stopped. It was amazing. It was really good. It was a little scary sometimes. Sometimes it was funny.
It didn't seem to bother them. They just pretty much closed it.
And in my personal opinion, every sequel after this is ass. I'm sorry.
Try.
The first one is good. I think every sequel after this.
Try.
Their eyes and said, "Wake me when it's over."
It's the best picture I've seen in about the last 10 years.
Jurassic Park became a huge blockbuster hit and went on to gross over $914 million worldwide in its original theatrical run, surpassing Spielberg's own E.T. the Extraterrestrial to become the highest grossing film of all time until the release of Titanic in 1997, later surpassing it in early 1998. Since its initial release, film critics and industry professionals have often cited Jurassic Park as one of the greatest summer blockbusters of all time. Its pioneering use of computer-generated imagery is considered to have paved the way for the visual effects practices of modern cinema. It's seen as one of the greatest films ever made and is a 90s classic. The film spawned a multimedia franchise that includes 6 sequels, video games, theme park attractions, comic books, and various merchandise. Jurassic Park is also responsible for the sudden resurgence in interest in dinosaurs, fossils, and paleontology that swept the globe during the 1990s. You just had to be there to witness this larger-than-life epic, as this was the film to see in 1993.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Other major films released this year included the Tina Turner biopic, What's Love Got to Do with It?, Indecent Proposal, Rudy, Dazed and Confused, Groundhog Day, The Fugitive, Sleepless in Seattle, Cliffhanger, Menace to Society, The Pelican Brief, The Firm, The Sandlot, A Bronx Tale, Demolition Man, What's Eating Gilbert Grape, Poetic Justice, Last Action Hero, Free Willy, Cool Runnings, Sister Act 2, Back in the Habit, Coneheads, and the cult classic Hocus Pocus, as well as many others.
I ain't gonna lie, this shit kinda goated. Hey, yo.
That's what I'm talking about. That's why he's doing everything. That's why he's the GOAT. The GOAT.
Hey, 93 low-key goated. 93 low-key goated.
Another glorious morning. Makes me sick.
1993 was a really good year for television, as many notable TV shows made their debut as the hottest things on the small screen. Many of these shows would go on to be massively successful, later dominating the rest of the 1990s decade. Throughout the year, we saw the continued popularization of sitcoms, cartoons, dramas, and children's educational programs, as well as sci-fi action adventures. 1993 was just a stacked year for fresh and exciting new television shows, where most consider many of them to be some of the greatest television shows ever created. Living Single premiered in August of this year, where it became a staple on Fox during its initial run. The show centers on the lives of 6 New York City friends who share personal and professional experiences while living in a Brooklyn brownstone. The main cast consisted of the hardworking magazine editor and publisher Khadijah, played by Queen Latifah, the sweet and naive Sinclair, played by Kim Coles, the bougie and men-crazy Regine, played by Kim Fields, the sassy, sharp-tongued attorney Maxine Shaw, played by Erica Alexander, the sarcastic stockbroker Kyle, played by T.C. Carson, and the lovable goofball handyman Overton, played by John Henton. Throughout its run, Living Single became one of the most popular African-American sitcoms of its era, ranking amongst the top 5 in African-American ratings in all 5 seasons. The show found great success, airing from 1993 to 1998 with a total of 5 seasons and 118 episodes, as one of Fox's most popular shows at the time. Now, we gotta talk about the elephant in the room. In 1994, just a year after Living Single premiered, another similar sitcom called Friends made its...
We ain't gotta talk about this, bro. We already know, bro. You ain't got to speak on it. We already know, bro.
That shit is fucking trash, dog. Get the fuck off the airwaves.
You ain't got to explain it to us, bro. We already know, bro. We already know, bro.
What they put on your sandwich? Too much goddamn mayonnaise.
Way on television and quickly became the biggest show of the decade. Both fans and critics have stated that Friends is a blatant copy of Living Single, just the gentrified version. The creators of the series have never publicly claimed it to be a copy, but more so an original concept, which is pretty interesting given how similar they were, as well as being released a year apart. I mean,
let me ask the audience.
A group of 6 young adults living life together, taking place in New York City while in an apartment setting is just so on the nose, you know? They even copied some of the character archetypes. You had the goofy dumb character, the hyper feminine vanity driven character, the eccentric one, the typical hardworking male character, and so on. Coincidence? I think not. I know these 2 shows were on different networks, but they really missed an opportunity to have a crossover special. Like, imagine what we would get from Overton and Joey, but I digress. Although Living Single is often viewed as an overlooked or forgotten show from the 90s, it made a big impact on many Black Americans and is one of the most notable Black sitcoms of all time. In late 1993, VeggieTales quickly became a global phenomenon overnight once the
VeggieTales is goated. I don't care what y'all say. VeggieTales is goated. Don't sit up here act like VeggieTales ain't goated, bruh. VeggieTales is goated.
VHS tapes were released to home video stores all across the country. VeggieTales is a Christian CGI animated series and multimedia franchise created by Phil Vischer and Mike Nawrocki. VeggieTales is a Christian CGI animated series and multimedia franchise created by Phil Vischer and Mike Nawrocki under Big Idea Entertainment. The series stars Bob the Tomato and Larry the Cucumber, leading a variety of fruit and vegetable characters as they retell stories from the Bible and parody pop culture while also teaching life lessons according to a biblical worldview. Episodes would typically introduce a moral theme or ethical issue during the opening countertop segment, either through a viewer's question or a conflict presented by Bob or Larry. This would usually be followed by one or more films performed by the VeggieTales characters that convey a lesson related to the issues, with the silly songs from Larry segment featured in the middle. Let me know down below if y'all remember the cheeseburger song and if you think that's the best silly song with Larry, you know? At the end of each episode, Bob and Larry would read a Bible verse that was always about the lesson the viewers learned, concluded with the program's signature sign-off, "Remember kids, God made you special and he loves you very much." Thanks to the show's clever use of comedy and relatability, it was able to be entertaining and teach kids about the Bible in a way that just wasn't forcing Christianity on them. And I think that's the reason why VeggieTales was so successful, because it was just, you know, it was just so relatable and it was able to just speak to people without just being like, you're going to hell, you do this, you're going, you know, it was just relatable and it was funny. The writing was really clever and all of the things. You just had to be there, you know? Since its initial release, VeggieTales has turned into a multi-million-dollar franchise with various forms of media and spin-offs, including books, music, stage productions, video games, movies, soundtracks, Netflix shows, and other forms of merchandise. As of now, the series is still in production and has sold over 16 million books, 7 million music CDs, and 235 million music streams, making it the most popular Christian media for children. You just had to be there as VeggieTales was everywhere and in the homes of church kids everywhere in the 90s and the early 2000s. Beavis and Butthead is an American animated comedy television series created by Mike Judge for MTV. The series follows Beavis and Butthead, both voiced by Judge, a pair of teenage slackers characterized by their apathy, lack of intelligence, lowbrow humor, and love for hard rock and heavy metal. The original series juxtaposes slices of life, short subjects in which the teens embark on low-minded misadventures in their fictional town of Highland, Texas, with the pair watching and commenting on music videos. Is it me, or do they kind of remind you of the two old men from the Muppets? During its initial run, Beavis and Butthead received acclaim for its satirical commentary on society, as well as criticism for its alleged influence on adolescents. The characters became pop culture icons amongst Gen X viewers, with their laughter and dialogue later becoming catchphrases. The series was adopted into a theatrical film, the commercially successful Beavis and Butthead Do America, back in 1996, as well as a sequel, Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe, in 2022. The franchise also spawned a comic book series, video games, books, an album, and so much more. And this show also helped popularize more adult content and animation, where the two characters are deemed as one of the most popular duos in all of animation. One of the most exciting shows that premiered this year was the action superhero adventure, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It's the first entry of the Power Rangers franchise, which became a pop culture phenomenon during the 1990s, along with a large line of toys produced by Bandai, like tours, home media releases, and other merchandise, generating $1 billion in revenue by 1995. That's honestly really impressive that they were able to make that much money.
The greatest top 2, and it's probably not 2 kid shows to ever fucking exist. Fuck you mean? Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is forever goated. Don't tell me any differently.
In merchandise in just 2 years. You just had to be there, as the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was just so cool and just all the rage back in the 90s and early 2000s. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers first aired in the United States on August 28, 1993, ending in 1995 with a total of 3 3 seasons and 145 episodes. In just 3 weeks, it became the country's top-rated children's television series, where it held this status until July of 1994. Due to the action-oriented nature of the show, many of the lead actors cast in the show had backgrounds in martial arts, dance, or other physical intensive activities. Despite the success of the series, it was also subject to some controversy from parents who felt the show was just a bit too violent for young children, which is actually funny looking back, as this show was very tame compared to what kids are seeing now. But I digress. The show had aired before television stations issued content warnings such as parental guidance or fit for viewing persons 12 years or over, the V-chip, and television ratings. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was a very ambitious television series, making it one of the most unique and interesting shows from the decade that we will never forget. Possibly the most notable show that was released in 1993 was The X-Files. The X-Files is an American science fiction drama television series that aired from September 10th, 1993 to May 19th, 2002 on Fox, spanning 9 seasons and 202 episodes. From 2016 to 2018, the show would see a brief return with 2 more seasons to great fanfare. The series revolves around 2 FBI special agents, Fox Mulder and Dana Scully, who investigate various X-Files, which are unsolved cases involving paranormal phenomena. Mulder is a skilled criminal profiler, a supernaturalist, and a conspiracy theorist who believes in the existence of the paranormal, whereas Scully is a very straightforward medical doctor and skeptic, where the two must work together to solve these strange mysteries. Early in the series, both agents apparently became pawns in a much larger conflict and come to trust only each other and select others. Both later discover what appears to be a governmental agenda to hide evidence of extraterrestrial life. Mulder and Scully's shared adventures, which develops into a complex romantic relationship because, you know, we can't have a show where the main leads cannot just be friends without any forced romantic relationship. But I digress. That's how Hollywood is. Initially considered a cult series, The X-Files quickly became a pop culture phenomenon during the 90s that tapped into public mistrust of governments and large institutions while embracing conspiracy theories and spirituality. And I wonder if Stranger Things was slightly inspired by the show. Both the series and lead actors received multiple awards and nominations, and by its conclusion, the show was the longest-running science fiction series in American television history. Other popular shows that came out this year included Frasier, Boy Meets World, The Big Comfy Couch, Rocko's Modern Life, NYPD Blue, Star Trek, Deep Space Nine, Homicide, Life on the Street, WWE Raw, Diagnosis Murder, Walker Texas Ranger, Babylon 5, Late Show with David Letterman, Bill Nye the Science Guy, Peak Practice, Animaniacs, and The Nanny, as well as many others.
Oh, you missed with The Nanny. Nanny's
I'm sure I'm gonna
trash.
miss being 29 and still living at home with my parents. It was best for the kids. Don't talk with me, Gnarls.
Try! Look what's popping up, Fat Free. Special K waffles from Eggo. Once you see how good Fat Free can be, oh no, you never let go.
No way.
Ain't no way. The Eggo came out in 93? That's crazy. Damn, I was probably born in the wrong year, bro. I should have been born in 93 instead of 94.
It's all mine.
Special K waffles from Eggo.
Eggo Special K waffles. Crisp, delicious, yet every bite fat-free, cholesterol-free, and just 80 calories per waffle. See how good fat-free can be.
Oh no, you never let go. Nah. Special K waffles from Eggo.
1993 was a very memorable and important year for music, as this was the year of change. Many of the musical trends from the 80s were officially gone, as we were in a completely new era full of innovation and creativity, as this year had a major lasting impact on the rest of the decade. During the years 1992 and 1993, the 90s had officially found its footing and identity sonically, where the artists, genres, and new musical trends really helped shape the sound of the rest of the decade. Throughout the year, there were so many groundbreaking and iconic releases that would have a major impact on the years to come, making this a standout year for the music industry. Black artists really had 1993 in a chokehold, as many of the hottest albums, chart toppers, and genres were all dominated by a wide variety from people of color. Oh, and there were some white artists present on the charts this year, where some of them tried to get an invite to the cookout, like one-hit wonder Snow with his smash hit Informer, or everyone's favorite white cod reggae cruise band UB40 with their Elvis cover I Can't Help Falling in Love With You, as some examples. Whether it was hip-hop, R&B, dance, alternative, house, adult contemporary, reggae, or movie soundtracks, black artists were at the forefront of popular music in 1993, as this was just a major year for the culture, if you know what I mean. Some of the hottest albums released this year included PJ Harvey's Rid of Me, A Tribe Called Quest, Midnight Marauders, Snoop Dogg's debut album Doggy Style, The Cranberries' debut Everyone Else Is Doing It, So Why Can't We, Bjork's debut, Toni Braxton's self-titled debut, Radiohead's debut, Pablo Honey, Escape's Hummin' Comin' At Ya, Sheryl Crow's Tuesday Night Music Club, Melissa Etheridge's Yes I Am, Tupac's Strictly For My Jiggas, The Smashing Pumpkins' Siamese Dream, Salt and Peppa's Very Necessary, Lenny Kravitz' Are You Gonna Go My Way, and Nirvana's last album as a group before Kurt Cobain's death in 1994, In Utero, amongst many others. In November of this year, new hip-hop collective Wu-Tang Clan released their debut album Enter the Wu-Tang 36 Chambers to great success. Being an East Coast boom bap alternative hip-hop album, it created a blueprint.
I can't give him the Ja Rule. I can't give him the Ja Rule. I can't give him the Ja Rule. I give him this though.
Push the goddamn button. 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 Push the goddamn button.
Congratulations! Oh my God.
I give Wu-Tang the congratulations.
for hardcore hip-hop during the 1990s and helped return New York City hip-hop to the mainstream. Its sound also became greatly influential in modern hip-hop production, while the group members' explicit, humorous, and free associative lyrics have served as a template for many future rap records. Serving as a landmark release in the era of hip-hop known as the East Coast Renaissance, its influence helped lead the way for several other East Coast rappers including Nas, the Notorious B.I.G., Mobb Deep, and Jay-Z amongst many others. This album contained many hits including Protect Your Neck, Can It Be All So Simple, and the smash hit Cream. Despite underperforming on the Billboard Hot 100 charts, Cream quickly became the group's signature hit overnight. Since its release, the song has been called one of the greatest hip-hop songs of all time, with some who even described it as one of the greatest songs of all time, and I agree with them. This song is just legendary. You've heard it, your neighbors heard it, your mom's heard it, your grandma's heard it. It's just iconic, you know? It's also been sampled numerous times by a wide variety of artists over the years. Initially receiving positive reviews from most music critics, Enter the Wu-Tang 36 Chambers has since been widely regarded as one of the most significant albums of the 1990s, as well as one of the greatest hip-hop albums of all time. After departing from the popular West Coast hip-hop group NWA, Dr. Dre released his highly anticipated debut album, The Chronic, on December 15th, 1992. The album would go on to have major success in 1993 and quickly became one of the most popular albums of the year. The album is considered a gangster rap, West Coast hip-hop, and G-Funk record, where Dr. Dre's production popularized the G-Funk subgenre with gangster rap. It's also known mostly for its hardcore and explicit lyrical nature. It features many appearances by the up-and-coming rapper Snoop Doggy Dogg, who used the album as a launchpad for boosting his own solo career. The album's title derives from a slang term for high-grade cannabis, and its cover is homage to Zigzag Rolling Papers. Dr. Dre's first solo album established him as one of the biggest hip-hop stars of his era and of all time. The album's 3 singles became top 10 Billboard smashes. Nothing But a G Thing reached number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 1 on the Hot Rap Singles and Hot R&B Singles charts that year. Unironically, it was blocked behind another big hip-hop song at the time, Informer from Snow of all rappers, who I've mentioned earlier in the video, which is so crazy because, you know, I guess both of these songs were both big hits. They were both on the radio a lot, but, you know, the fact that this song was blocked by a culture vulture. But I digress, as there's enough space for all of us to be great, but, you know, it's just one of those things of how did this song not go to number 1? Despite missing the top spot, it was a massive hit this year, where it ended up ranking in 11th place for the 1993 Billboard year-end list and would later give Dr. Dre his first Grammy the following year. The Chronic is widely regarded as the album that redefined West Coast hip-hop, demonstrated gangster rap's commercial potential as a multi-platinum commodity, and established G-Funk as the most popular sound in hip-hop music for several years after its release, with Dr. Dre producing major albums that drew heavily on his production style.
Absolutely. This is when you already know the West Side is the best side. You feel me? Y'all should already know the West Side is the best side. You feel me? Fuck them East Coast niggas. Fuck them East Coast niggas. Wu-Tang ain't got nothing on Death Row, nigga. Fuck out of here. It's Def Rizzo and it ain't even Clizzos. You feel me? So it's always gonna be about that West Side, because you would not know it's the best side.
Chronic has been widely regarded as one of the most important and influential albums of the 1990s and one of the best produced hip-hop albums of all time. Another major artist that saw success this year was Janet Jackson. In May of 1993, Janet Jackson released her 5th studio album, Janet, to great success. The album's title, just being her name followed by a period, was her way of distancing herself from her public image from the Jackson family, showing people that she was just her own person. Mostly an R&B record, Janet incorporated pop, hip-hop, soul, funk, rock, house, jazz, and opera, eliminating the rigid, industrial sound of her previous records. Lyrically, the theme of this album is sexual intimacy, which was a dramatic departure from her conservative image from what we were.
Cause it's Janet Jackson, nigga. It's Janet Jackson, nigga. Miss Jackson, if you nasty, you should already know. Yeah.
You's a freaky ass nigga.
We're used to seeing her. I guess you can call it the classic case of a good girl gone bad narrative that we've seen many pop artists do. In the US, it became her 3rd consecutive album to top the Billboard 200 and her first debut at number 1. Selling 350,000 copies in its first week, it set a record for the highest first week sales for a female artist at the time, which is honestly really impressive and just legendary. As of today, it has sold around 14 million copies worldwide, making it Janet's highest selling album, as well as one of the highest selling female albums ever. Like I mentioned earlier, this album saw a noticeable shift in Janet's image, as well as sonically transforming to a more laid back and urban sound compared to her previous records. That's the Way Love Goes was the lead single, where it quickly became another smash hit for Janet. At the time of its release, it was just a shocking contrast from her previous releases among critics and the public, as Janet was no longer Penny from Good Times. She was a full-blown out grown adult, Miss Janet if you're nasty. The song spent a total of 8 weeks at number 1 on top of the Billboard Hot 100, making it one of the longest running number 1 singles of the year, as well as the song of the summer. Other smash hits from this album included If and Again, as well as many others. Pop diva Mariah Carey also had a pretty eventful 1993, as she was just everywhere from her music releases to her first major tour and a highly publicized marriage, which, speaking of, as I mentioned earlier in the video, Mariah Carey and Tommy Mottola tied the knot in June of this year to a lavish $500,000 ceremony. They later moved into a custom-built mansion located on a 51-acre estate in Bedford, New York, where Mariah often referred to it as Sing Sing, which, you know, is actually really sad, but funny at the same time that she called it that. Their marriage sparked some controversy by the general public due to their 21-year age gap, as well as him being the CEO of the successful label, Columbia, at the time, where some were even saying this gave her the upper hand in the music industry, which I can see how people would think that, given she was the most successful artist on the label at the time. They would later separate and divorce in 1998 after creative differences, and and his controlling ways, which leads me to believe that Mariah only agreed to marrying him out of fear from being dropped from the label and possibly blackballed from the industry. But that's a whole nother topic for another video for another.
And look at where she at now. Look at where he is. If that brother's still alive, I don't even know if that brother's still alive. He might be gone. That brother might be gone.
Fuck your homie dead. Fuck your homie dead. Fuck your homie dead. Most of their ass got hit in the head. Fuck your homie dead. Fuck your.
See, I don't know if that brother gone or not, but if he's still alive, then all right, cool. But still, look at where she at and look at where he at.
The day, y'all. Besides the controversy, Mariah released her highly anticipated third studio album, Music Box, in August to great success. Comprising mostly of ballads, Music Box continued to showcase Mariah's impressive vocal range and songwriting skills as she composed the songs with ex-writing partner Walter Afanasieff. It's mostly a pop album with elements of R&B and dance. This album contained many hits including Dream Lover, Hero, and a cover recording of Badfingers Without You, which became worldwide chart-topping singles, which Without You would actually become Mariah's highest charting international single of her career up until that point. Without You became Mariah's first #1 single in most European markets and reached the top 3 in the United States. As for Dream Lover, it dominated the US chart, spending a total of 8 weeks at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, tying with Janet's That's the Way Love Goes as the longest running #1 singles of the year. Dream Lover quickly became one of Mariah's most recognizable hits, as well as becoming an instant fan favorite. After its release, Music Box received generally mixed reviews from music critics and fans, where some even say it's their least favorite or one of her lowest ranked albums. And I think this is mostly due to the album's lack of variety and predictable somber ballads. Besides this, the album would go on to become certified diamond by the RIAA and remains Carey's highest seller with 28 million copies sold worldwide, making it one of the best-selling albums of the 1990s decade and of all time. Perhaps the biggest artist of 1993 was none other than the voice herself, Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston absolutely dominated 1993 as she was just everywhere, from major film debuts to award show appearances, live performances, and chart dominance. Whitney, without a doubt, was the most successful musical artist of the year. In late 1992, Whitney Houston starred alongside Kevin Costner in the suspenseful romantic drama The Bodyguard. The film was a box office smash where it became one of the most popular films of the decade. Also in late 1992, the soundtrack was released, where it quickly became a cultural phenomenon overnight. Upon its release in November of 1992, The Bodyguard was praised by music critics for Houston's vocal performance and production. The album was a global success, topping the charts in 21 countries, including the United States, the United Kingdom, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, Germany, Austria, Belgium, France, Italy, and Japan, as well as the European album charts. In the United States, the album debuted at #2 on the Billboard 200 before climbing to #1 in its second week of release, remaining there for a total of 20 non-consecutive weeks, making it the first album by a female artist to top the charts for that many weeks, which is just impressive. In its 6th week, it sold 1 million copies within a single week, making Whitney the first artist to accomplish this following verification by Nielsen SoundScan. It would continue to sell over 1 million copies per week for several weeks in a row, and would eventually be certified diamond by the RIAA for sales of 10 million copies in November 1993, becoming the first female album to sell that many copies in the United States, and would be one of 3 Whitney albums to receive that milestone, eventually selling 19 million in the country. Overall, the album would go on to sell 45 million copies worldwide, becoming the best-selling soundtrack album of all time, the best-selling album by a woman in music history, and the best-selling album of the decade. Technically, Shania Twain's 1997 Come On Over is credited as the highest-selling female album of all time, selling 40 million records worldwide, despite the whole argument of the Bodyguard soundtrack only featuring 6 Whitney tracks and a bunch of other artists. Nonetheless, Whitney did do most of the heavy lifting on the soundtrack, therefore making it a Whitney album, so boom.
We said what we said.
Featured many beloved classics that were major smash hits, including I Run to You, Queen of the Night, I'm Every Woman, and I Have Nothing, as well as many others. The most recognizable and successful single from the Bodyguard soundtrack was the iconic I Will Always Love You. I Will Always Love You is just a classic where it is well received by just everyone. Originally a Dolly Parton song, Whitney's rendition really made the song what it is today, becoming a staple song for many talent shows, singing competitions, weddings, and karaoke, being the ultimate love ballad to end all love ballads. And Whitney really sang for her life on this song, as it's easily her best vocal performance in her entire music career. And honestly, this might be the best vocal performance ever in music history. The song was a global smash, topping the singles charts in 34 countries. Considered one of the most famous and iconic singles of all time, it sold over 24 million copies worldwide, making it the best-selling single by a female artist of all time, as well as one of the best-selling singles of all time. In terms of the Billboard Hot 100, the song instantly became a smash hit, staying at the #1 spot for a total of 14 weeks from November 1992 through February of 1993. It was the longest chart topper of the year, where it became the #1 song on the Billboard year-end list, the 7th biggest song of the decade, and the highest-selling single from a female artist ever in music history. I Will Always Love You is forever immortalized as one of, if not the greatest ballads ever made, and continued Whitney Houston's legacy as the greatest singer ever. Other popular songs from 1993 were Weak from SWV, I'm So Into You, also from SWV, Runaway Train from Soul Asylum, Ordinary World from Duran Duran, A Whole New World from Peabo Bryson and Regina Belle, Rain from Madonna, Hip Hop Hooray from Naughty by Nature, Freak Me from Silk, The River of Dreams from Billy Joel, I'm Gonna Be 500 Miles from The Proclaimers, I'd Do Anything for Love But I Won't Do That from Meatloaf, Rump Shaker from Wreckin' Effect, Show Me Love from Robin S., If I Ever Fall in Love from Shy, Wolf There It Is from Tag Team, and What About Your Friends from TLC, as well as many others. As you can see, 1993 was a pretty crazy year from start to finish with
Facts.
some pretty crazy pop culture moments that we would never forget. Other major events that happened this year included the introduction of the Got Milk ads, Kenya Moore winning Miss America for Michigan, Mattel releasing their earring Magic Ken doll, Israel Kamekawibale's album Facing Future becoming the best-selling album of all time by a Hawaiian artist, Alexander Serebrov was the first person to play a video game in space, Tetris on his Game Boy, while orbiting Earth on the MIR space station, McDonald's introducing their supersize option on their menu, Batman Mask of the Phantasm debuting in theaters to mixed reviews, the new Mickey Mouse Club premiering launching the careers of future superstars Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears, JC Chazez, Kerry Russell, Ryan Gosling, and Christina Aguilera, and Kumba opening as America's tallest, fastest, and longest roller coaster at Busch Gardens, Tampa, Florida, as well as many other things. So that was 1993, a pretty crazy and fun and memorable year. I feel like 1993 was just a really good year overall for pop culture. You know, like there was a lot of really good movies that came out this year. There was a lot of really big TV shows. And the music, there was just so much good music, especially like the hip hop albums and the R&B albums. You just had to be there. So I want to know from everybody, what was your favorite moment from 1993? Did you watch The X-Files or Living Single? Were you watching Frasier? What did you think of Jurassic Park? Did you watch it in theaters when it first came out? Did you see Miss Doubtfire this summer? Did you have Dr. Dre's album? Did you have Snoop's album? Did you have Janet's album? Were you listening to Whitney and Mariah? Were you watching Animaniacs this year? Did you watch the inauguration? What did you think of the whole Michael Jackson situation? And what did you think of 1993 as a whole? Let me know down below.
Alrighty, man. That's just gonna about do it for this one. Hey, 93. Hey, shout out to 1990. Shout out to all my 93 babies out there, man. Shout out to all my 93 babies out there. Shout out to everybody that experienced 93. I ain't experienced 93, but I was conceived in 93. That was a year ahead of my time. I'm a 94 baby, so yeah. But anyway, so that's just gonna about do it for this one. Hey, 93 was a year. Definitely was a year. But anyway, so that's just gonna about do it for this one. I'll see you all in the next video. Till then, deuces.